And we'll move into service level management. So again, with respect to functionality, another ITIL process that is included out of the box. So now we're talking about the far right and the service level management. And when we start talking about service level, your portfolio, you have basically 4 different types. So the first one is the service. And this we kind of saw when we were standing at that catalog. So it's a record user track the details of any service that you're providing, have provided, or planning on providing going forward. We looked at that tablet, but it could be, maybe it's one of your consultants in the field that needs you to stand up a server so they can test whatever functionality. So now I have a service request, and it's, again, a service that my end user can request that's standing up a server for them. So it's just whatever type of services you want to provide to your end users. Second type of service level portfolio type is a contract. And so you may have heard several service level agreements, operational level agreements, underpinning contracts. So this may be what you're holding your vendors to. Not actionable, but again, something that I can have stored inside of Service Core. The third one is my service level target. So what you'll see here is how you're setting up details on how long it should take you to respond, let's say, to an incident that just came in. Let's say it's a high priority incident that just came in. How long should I be taken to do a response? How long should I be taken to do a resolution? Those critical items, priorities, would be different than, let's say, my normal priorities. So the service level target for the response in resolution on the normal ones is that different than my critical. That I can take action on. The fourth thing that we'll see, and these are created for you automatically inside of Service Core, are the work targets. So now what I'm doing is tracking or recording how I've progressed with that specific target, okay? And so if we take a look at this, just a quick workflow. So let's say I'm entering a ticket, and I've got all my ticket details, and I've put the priority at high. It says location, Tampa, but again, there's however many different fields that you're filling out on a specific incident. Well, automatically, I have a rule that's going to fire off, and it's searching my service portfolio to see, well, do you have anything out there that matches the priority and location of this ticket that was just entered? If you do, and if we look at this, so I've got a service level target of 1. It has a priority of high, location Houston. That's not it. My next one is a service level target 2, has a priority medium, location Tampa. Nope, it doesn't meet that one. And then I have a service level target 3 where the priority is high and the location is Tampa. Ding, 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 I have a match. And so what you'll see here is when we find that match, we're creating that work target. So now if I've set it up where I need to respond because it's a high priority, let's say in 30 minutes, and I need to resolve it in a day, that work target will be created for me. And then ultimately what you see is that work target is linked back to the ticket. So if we're in the ticket, we'll see under the work targets what that response time is and what that resolution time is. Okay, so a quick workflow on it, and now what we'll do is head to the demonstration so we can see that one in action. All right, and so here, let me just escape actually. We're going to go right into the Service Core as a technician. Okay, so a couple things that we have to have set up on the front end. And the nice thing with Service Core is when I set up, kind of if you think about it out of the box, some of these things are going to be created for me. If I need to create a new one, or whatever the case may be, just make sure that you have these things that I'm about to walk through set up, and then you'll have your service level management working effectively as well. Okay, so here under my service portfolio, we're looking at my service level targets, and you can see here I have 11. But I basically, those top 4 lines, these are my critical response, urgent response, high response, normal response. And you can kind of see here on the right, 20 minutes for the critical, 30 minutes for the urgent, 1 hour for the high criticality, if you will, and then 2 if it's normal, 2 hours for the normal. So in other words, I have 2 hours to respond. And then I have 4 different types for my resolution. There again, 2 hours for the critical resolution, 4 hours to resolve my urgent tickets, 1 day to resolve my high resolution tickets, and then 3 days to resolve my normal resolution tickets. So again, you can set these up. I've set up another couple too. I've called it a gold resolution and a silver resolution, but again, if you wanted to set up a new one, it's just actions, new, and then setting up this particular target. So here we would go to the service portfolio, set up that service level target. And as this screen is coming up, there's really very little you have to do, right? The name and this priority. So the critical thing here is whatever priority you're setting up here, so I have the 4 different values, that priority needs to match what's on your incident form. That's how we get that work target created. All right, so here if I was going to say I had gold, silver, maybe we say bronze resolution. Okay, and then I have bronze, and we're going to say the bronze is normal. And then my target type. So you remember in that workflow we had response times and resolution times. So this one we're saying it's the resolution time. We're going to base this on my normal work week. And then what's my target value? So for my bronze resolution, I need to be completed, have a resolution for that, let's say 3 days. All right, and then we would save it. Okay, so again, you just need to make sure that that priority, actually, and this is the resolution, the priority is equaling, or if you're going to use service level, right, so I would need to make sure that one equal. And actually, we're going to make that one bronze, and we'll just leave this one blank. So we'll just do a quick update and save on that. Okay, so here I'm going to close service level target. And again, if you're familiar with Service Core, you know, after you do these, you have to publish the workspace. I'm not going to publish it during the demonstration, but again, just kind of showing you how you would set up additional service level targets. We'll close this one. Now in here you can see I have one more, so I have that bronze resolution. I've got a resolution time of 3 days. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to do. Then the next thing is, again, making sure on your form that those values match. So we can see that when we go to administration, and if we have a look, let's say at this agent form. So here, let's look at the details. So we have that priority, and if you look over here on the left, I can see again those choices are matching what we had in our service level target. Same with this service level. So this one I added to the form and again made the choices to mimic what was over there on my service level target. Okay, so once we've done that, we'll just leave this at the incident. I'm going to go and create a new incident and then choose those priorities so we can see that work target that gets created. One other thing actually, on this agent form, and again, if you're using out of the box, it should be there, but if you're setting it up from scratch, you'll want to make sure here for your SLAs, this work target, that you have some values here selected. So I put the target type and the target value. I may have even put the target date in there so that those become available once we create that incident. That will be populated for us. All right, so here if we head back, again, I'm just going to enter a new ticket as a technician. So here I'm going new, and we'll say incident. And then what we'll see here, I'm just going to grab one of the templates that's out there so it populates this for me fairly quickly. So we'll say VPN issue. And when I hit to head down to this details, you'll see it's giving it the short description. It's giving it this priority of normal. I'm not populating anything on the service level. It's giving it the description. But if we head down here to the SLAs and this work target, you'll see it's blank. So when I save it, what it's going to do is look at that priority and then provide here a work target for this particular incident. So I'm just going to hit save. and you can have multiple work targets. You remember, we set up one for, I did normal. I think I did normal. Let's see, normal. Let me switch this to high. Let's make it high. We know we set up one for high. So I set up one for the response as well as the resolution. So now when we head down here to our SLAs, what you see, kind of scroll down, actually I did have one. So the first one I put in was normal, and it was saying 2 hours for the response, 3 days for the resolution. But because I went back in and said, nope, we're going to make that a high priority, it basically canceled those first 2 work targets. Now I have 2 new ones. So I need to respond in 1 hour, and I have a resolution of 1 day. So those, and you kind of remember the flow chart. So if it found a matching service level, then what it was doing was automatically creating that work target and then linking it. So this is the linking it back to my ticket. So we start to run reports and see how we're faring on our responses versus our resolutions, what they should be, which ones we met, which ones were breached. Then we have the ability to report upon on that. Okay, and then again, if we were to come back to the details, right, so maybe I cleared this out and we look at one of the service levels that's gold and do a quick save, then it should have now at this point cancel out the other 2, and now we should have a new one. But you remember that gold service, I only had the resolution time. So if we head down to the SLAs, scroll down just a bit, what we see here, so 5 records, right? First 2 canceled. That had to do with normal. The next 2 were my high or critical. And then I have just the one that's pending, and it's only the resolution of 4 hours, again, based on that gold service level. Okay? So that's how you start to configure, set up, and configure your service level management inside of Service Core.